So nurturing the chimp. So nurturing the chimp involves understanding your chimp. Your chimp is different from any other person's chimp. That means its interests and disinterests are going to be different from any other person. That's why it's important for you to understand yourself and understand your chimp. So the chimp has its own drives and needs, but generally, the chimp's drives are a combination of protection, troop, territory, ego, dominance. It also has sex, it has food, security, parental drives, name it. But if you hear. So looking at these, there's a combination that more is aligned to your chimp, and you have to know what they are. For example, people have the territory as part of their deep needs, and they want things that they want to define their territory. No one is supposed to touch this, someone is not supposed to go past this particular area or take my things away. If you understand your chimp and you know that it always takes over once people take up your space or take any of your items, then it's important that you nurture your chimp. You bring your chimp to understanding that it's okay for people to share some of the things that you have. If that's not acceptable to the chimp, you need to realize that and then use other ways to bring your chimp to a good understanding of what it means to be in shared space. So that sometimes you might decide to, for example, if it's work, to get 2 items. Some people do that. So if they have a punch, they get another punch to make sure that people never take the other punch from them. If it's, for example, the neighbor knowing the boundary where you pass, you have to sometimes speak to the neighbor, and then the neighbor will get to know that you don't want anything to do with bypassing your boundary or having some of their items into your boundary. So in that way, it will satisfy the chimp, because the chimp will be aware that the neighbor will never crossover, maybe intentionally, because you've addressed the issue with them. So you have to find ways in which you nurture your chimp and allow your chimp to become more acceptable so that it never takes over. You know how some people react when someone is in their territory, and sometimes we think they're overreacting, or it's their chimp that is taking over, and their chimp is quite protective of the territory, and we have to come to understanding of that. If it's food, you have to know how to manage your chimp quite early before you go out to eat. What do you need to do to your chimp to prepare it when you're going to go into a coffee shop when it sees the cake? What are you supposed to be doing to ensure that the chimp doesn't buy the whole cake and bring it home to find yourself eating and then regretting thereafter? So understanding your chimp is actually important. Some people go to a coffee shop and don't even care about the slices of cake, but then other people, we know that you will look at the cake and you will just be taken over, and you feel like you cannot even resist it. So what are some of the things you can do to ensure that the cake doesn't take over? Do you want, some people can use another person to go and buy them a coffee instead of them going into the coffee shop. Sometimes it's telling, eating something beforehand and ensuring that once you go to the coffee shop, your chimp is in more control and feels that it can wait another time. Sometimes some people have needs, parental needs, and if these are not fulfilled, the chimp will always be irritated. It will find itself really taking over in situations that others may not understand. So what some people do is have careers with that involve caring for little ones. Sometimes they have to get a pet that in which they can divert some of those needs, but you need to know your chimp, whether that will satisfy it, and that will be important in nurturing the chimp. So it's really important to learn the mechanisms that allow you to nurture your chimp so that you're always more in control. That is, before you ration with it, you need to have it into a form where it's more calm and more understanding. I hope this has helped you in understanding yourself better. The next element is going to be how to manage the chimp.